The Hulk, Sebastian Valdez, rookie defensive tackle, is going to make his NFL debut for the 49ers tomorrow against the Rams. We're on the Golden Gate Bridge. What a day. We're about to go under the north tower of the bridge, move from Marin County to San Francisco, but we got to talk about Sebastian Valdez. All the 49ers news. Clelin Ferrell also elevated from the practice squad, and good news for San Francisco, just as we cross into San Francisco at that north tower of the most photographed bridge in the world, we can talk about Ben Bartch returning for the 49ers. Left guard, 49ers have been missing quality play at that position ever since Ben was hurt in week 2 against the New Orleans Saints. High ankle sprain for him. He has been activated off injured reserve. That is a big addition for San Francisco in this game against the Rams. But the Hulk, Sebastian Valdez, listen to this. Alfred Collins, who was a hero for the 49ers against the Rams back in week 5, a couple weeks after that against Houston, Alfred Collins separated his shoulder. His shoulder popped out of the socket. The 49ers thought that Alfred Collins was going to miss the rest of that Texans game, but Kyle Shanahan said that he popped his shoulder back into the socket, lethal weapon style, and finished the game. Alfred Collins is questionable for this game, not with that injury, but with a hip injury. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays, despite the fact that he didn't practice all week. There's the South Tower. Look at that. International orange is the color, by the way, of the Golden Gate Bridge. We're going to have a fun drive here. But Alfred Collins, I would not be surprised if he plays, because anybody who pops their shoulder back into the socket, lethal weapon style, and then is still able to finish the game, I would never count him out. But Sebastian Valdez, the Hulk, is ready to go now for the 49ers in case Alfred Collins can't go, or maybe if the 49ers run a snap division of sorts. Because if this game is anything like the last one against the Rams, it might turn into a little bit of a track meet. The 49ers don't want it to, but you're going to need as many fresh defensive linemen as possible. Well, what do we know about Valdez? Explosive, strong player, maybe a little bit undersized for your typical defensive tackle, but the 49ers actually don't mind that given how they play up front. They are an attacking front. They loved Valdez coming out of the University of Washington. Before that, he was at Montana State for 4 years. He actually played against Junior Bergen out of Montana, one of the 49ers' other rookies this year, undrafted free agents. And Valdez impressed the 49ers big time over the course of training camp. This guy popped off the screen, especially in the one-on-ones for the 49ers, to the point where he became a cult hero of sorts during training camp. You know, there's always these players that fans latch onto over the course of camp, and this year on defense, one of them was Sebastian Valdez. They loved the nickname the Hulk, and they were wondering, when is he going to get his first opportunity? Well, at some point, the injury attrition becomes such that he's forced into action. And I think that this is what happened for Sebastian Valdez. 49ers have lost so many defensive linemen, and now with Alfred Collins questionable with the hip injury, it is going to be Sebastian's time to get on out there for maybe at least a few snaps against the Rams in this game. So we've just crossed the Golden Gate Bridge. We are now in the Presidio in San Francisco. Can't really see all too much here except for a lot of the traffic. Maybe the trees. Yeah, the trees are nice. But we're about to turn onto Lincoln Boulevard, and then we're going to have some epic ocean views. You know, it's unfortunate that the days are a little bit shorter now, because we're having to cram a lot into one day. We're in Sausalito. Epic. What was the name of that place? Suzette? Cafe Suzette, I think. Oh my God, right on the water in Sausalito. First class. I couldn't believe that we were able to sit down there without a reservation. But we saw some Rams fans, maybe the only 3 Rams fans in existence. They made their way to Sausalito for this Saturday. They're going to have to make their way to another place that starts with an S, Santa Clara, but heading the other direction. Let's talk now about Ben Bartch. This is huge, Margot. Margot's sitting here filming, doing a great job. So I'm having a conversation with her and all of you, although I don't think she's going to talk back right now. She's going to listen. I mean, these cyclists right now, they have death wishes, I swear. I'm being very, very cautious, just as the 49ers were being cautious with Ben Bartch's return from the high ankle sprain. Ben, in the locker room yesterday, told me that it was excruciatingly painful in the pile, like bodies fell on top of his ankle, like his high ankle, his tibia in the pile. And he said that injury feels like you're breaking your bone. Like you could feel the ligaments stretching in that tibia area. And so it was a high ankle sprain. It's one of the more painful football injuries you can have. Now here we are at the View. You look out onto the Pacific Ocean here from Lincoln Boulevard and the Presidio, and if you could see the lighthouse, Point Bonita, straight ahead. That's where we hopped in for our Golden Gate Bridge swim and then swam back in through the Golden Gate. And I just wish that it was as still as it is today. Awesome, awesome day working down. Anyway, Ben Bartch last year played only a game and a half for the 49ers, and that was really, really quality play for San Francisco. Made them confident moving on from Aaron Banks, who made $19 million annually from the Green Bay Packers in free agency. And, the 49ers, when Bartch is healthy, I would say it's an upgrade over Aaron Banks. Banks has not played well for the Packers this year. I think he's dealt with some injury issues as well for Green Bay. The issue with Ben is that he's got to stay healthy for the 49ers. And obviously that has been a problem so far. He suffered the injury to end last season and then the high ankle sprain this year for the 49ers against the Saints in week 2. We know that Connor Colby played hard, did what he could, but Connor is a rookie. Connor is a 7th round pick. And the 49ers had a major liability at that left guard position over the course of the weeks that Connor Colby started there. And it was the biggest problem on their offensive line. If you look at the strategy for this game against the Rams, they have to hog the ball. The defense is going to give up a lot of yards in this game. Like, I would be shocked if the 49ers defense gave up fewer than 400 yards to the Rams. But if you can minimize the amount of times that Robert Saleh has to dig into his bag of tricks, if you could allow him to save his best bullets for the biggest moments in this game, then the 49ers will have a chance to win at the high leverage spots like they did against the Rams back in week 5. They had 41 minutes of possession in week 5. How do you do that? Well, your best defense is a good offense. And a good offense for the 49ers has to start with a good run game. Because in week 5, they didn't have that run game and Mac Jones had to drop back to pass over 50 times. They're not going to be able to replicate that in this game. I would also be shocked if they could replicate that because the Rams are going to be ready for the Jimmy G short passing attack. 49ers have to run. They have to protect Mac Jones, maybe even some Brock Purdy. We'll see what happens at the quarterback position for the 49ers. We'll see if Purdy is active. And that all starts with good offensive line play. And they have to ensure that they don't have any holes up front that are as glaring of a weakness as the left guard position had been for several weeks. So the Ben Bartch return, really, really big for the 49ers as they make their bid to hog the ball against the Los Angeles Rams. Other side of the ball, Kyle Shanahan had a great quote. We're about to enter the Seacliff neighborhood. We're going to pass where Robin Williams used to live, legendary San Franciscan, here in a little bit. They call this the 49-mile scenic drive. Do you see that sign right there, Margot, with the seagull on it? So you can take a drive that circles through San Francisco that is exactly 49 miles long, and it's called the 49-mile scenic drive. We're on part of it right now as we head through Seacliff. You could swim at China Beach here, but that's more dangerous than swimming in the enclosed bay. You could get taken out by the currents. Look, we got a 49ers fan on a scooter too. We'll turn into Seacliff to show people 49ers. Maybe he watches the channel. I don't know. Got some beautiful houses here. Like, the drive is literally called Scenic Avenue. And the fire department is here as well. Okay, we can wave to the fire truck. We're going to have to get out of this guy's way, first of all. What station number is that, 14? I don't know the guys at 14. We know the guys at 13. But we'll let them go.
You gonna wave?
Yeah, I'm going to wave. They waved. Awesome. I hope they watch that. Well, we'll send it to our guys at 13 and have them send it to 14. I didn't recognize. I don't think 14 had a station at the chili cook-off. Margo, I think you would like these houses. These are cool, huh? some like more traditional architecture on some of these. You're more of a traditionalist when it comes to the housing architecture.
I like the colonial style.
Yeah, I think we see some colonial style here.
A bit East Coast. No, this is not colonial style.
This is not colonial style?
No.
Oh, well, what style is it? This is way too modern for me.
Very modern,
Yeah, I'm not into this. I like the one that we passed before, though. I thought that was more, I guess colonial style is more wooden.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little more classic East Coast.
The Robin Williams house, which I believe is up here. Oh, is it in scaffolding right now? Yeah, so that's the Robin Williams house. Unfortunately, yeah. I was trying to give you guys a good little tour. That one used to be this you could see the color there, but they're definitely painting or renovating it. But he had a hell of a view, and he was on this street with palm trees and all that. Good stuff. R.I.P. All right, so we're talking about the 49ers defense. Kyle Shanahan had a great quote. He said, "We need to die slowly on defense. We need to die a slow death." Meaning, you can't let Matthew Stafford beat you very quickly with explosive plays, because you could be extinct very fast if this is, just a bunch of 30 and 40-yard gains. But if you are able to keep the Rams in front of you as the 49ers defense and make them go downfield in 15-play drives, the chances are that one of those 15 plays is a mistake, or you can send a great blitz that they're not ready for and you can get it off the field. Also, the 49ers are playing good red zone defense this year. So even if the Rams have a 10-play drive, if it only ends with 3 points, if it ends with a field goal instead of a touchdown, that's 4+ points for the 49ers, right? So this game is not going to be about stopping the Rams in their tracks. This game is going to be about slowing the Rams at certain spots. Now, here we come to Land's End. Land's End is one of the more epic spots of San Francisco. It's literally where the land ends, and there's no more land until the Hawaiian Islands, basically. And if you go at the right trajectory, probably not until Asia. They've got a golf course here. They have an art museum here. You should go check it out with your mom, Margot. And it's basically really, really popular, as I can see with all these cars taking over nature on a Saturday. But the 49ers are, in this game, they have to find ways to be resourceful defensively. And they did it the first time against the Rams. Another way they can do it that they didn't capitalize on in the first game is you got to catch the interceptable passes that Matthew Stafford throws. If you turn to your right, you could see the bridge that we just crossed. How about that? Through the trees. That's one of my favorite shots. I know that you guys probably won't be able to see it all too clearly, but maybe even catch it. Maybe from up here we'll get a little bit more of a glimpse of it, but we're good. Margot telling me to watch out. We're waiting for somebody who's kind of double parked, making a U-turn in the middle of the road. Awesome. We've made it through. So the moves. Barch up, big for the 49ers. Sebastian Valdez, maybe it's only 10 snaps for him, but still big for him and exciting for the fans. And Clelin Ferrell, well, yeah, we were expecting that. He had such a nice first game for San Francisco. So now it's time for him to be elevated a second time. I'm sure that Clelin Ferrell is on track to get a permanent promotion to the 49ers 53-man roster at some point soon, because he only gets 3 practice squad elevations. He is such an important presence to this team. He basically takes over the Michael Williams role, because Michael did such a good job setting the edge for the 49ers on those first downs. And that's what Clelin Ferrell did for this team in 2023, and he's going to have to do a lot of it for San Francisco this year. So we've made it to the Legion of Honor. There's a harsh, harsh sun coming from the right side, but as soon as we pass it here, Margot, this is the art museum that I think you would really like. This is more of your classical European French style art museum. As you can see, it's very busy on this day. And you get a nice view of San Francisco here past the golf course to the left. See back to downtown. It is what do they call it? A Chamber of Commerce type of day. Perfect type of day to talk about the 49ers and their roster moves. Brock Purdy. We got to talk about Brock Purdy before we finish this up. We're taking this all the way to Ocean Beach. We're like 3 or 4 minutes away from the beach, which is going to be the nice finishing shot. Brock, there's so much talk about Mac and Brock right now. Brock played scout team quarterback for about half the snaps this week against the Rams. So he emulated Matthew Stafford, and Adrian Martinez emulated Matthew Stafford. And then the other half of the time, Brock took first-team reps for the 49ers offense. So what a practice week for Brock Purdy. And, it's fascinating to me because the 49ers have not yet ruled him out. They've obviously said that Mac is going to start. Brock is getting healthier and healthier and healthier. At practice. Oh, zoom in on that. You see that? That's a Little Russia in San Francisco, the old Orthodox church. There's a few Russian delis and bakeries left there that are supposedly really good. I haven't had a chance to try them yet, but at some point that will be on the menu. But Brock played both scout team quarterback for the 49ers and took first team reps. Remember that the Rams don't run an offense that's all too dissimilar from the 49ers in that, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan come from the same tree. So I think even by getting scout team reps this week, Brock Purdy was still preparing to run some of what the 49ers are going to run, if that makes sense. Mac is starting. We know that. But if Brock is active, I would not be shocked if at some point somehow we saw him in this game. That's just me speculating based on the pattern of this. And Brock Purdy has been incrementally more available every single week just based on his practice participation, based on what we've seen. And the fact that Kyle Shanahan was talking about him emulating Matthew Stafford for the scout team and doing all that for the 49ers this week, and the fact that it seems that the 49ers have been timing up this natural grass window. They've got 5 straight games on natural grass now after all the artificial turf. I think that it all points in a very interesting direction for this game on Sunday. My prediction, and maybe fans will like this, maybe they won't. Let me preface it by saying that I predicted the 49ers to lose to the Rams in Week 5. And maybe I helped them win by doing that. That was one of the 2 games I was really, really wrong on when it came to the 49ers defying odds early in the season. I predicted they'd lose to the Seahawks. I predicted that they would lose to the Rams. They won both of those games on the road. Well, I just look at this and I see how many things went in the 49ers' favor to beat the Rams back in Week 5. And, it was the Mac Jones miracle. And I have a hard time wrapping my head around how are they going to get this to happen again. I will say that they're healthier this time on offense, so maybe they'll have an easier time hogging the ball. But it's still – the Rams have only allowed 13 points total since that game. Matthew Stafford has thrown 10 touchdowns and no interceptions since that game. Look at the Pacific Ocean ahead of us. That's what we're heading down to. We're going to see Ocean Beach here in just a couple minutes to wrap this up. But the Rams are playing so well on offense. They're playing so well on defense. And the 49ers, they're obviously still finding ways to win games, and they're 6-3. But the Rams are the healthiest team in the NFL, and the 49ers are looking to catch lightning in a bottle twice. So I just don't see San Francisco holding the Rams to under 30 points. And I see the 49ers maybe scrounging their way past 20. I think they'll keep it closer than some might expect, but I'm going to pick the Rams to win. I know that's probably going to disappoint some people, but we're going to say 31-27 Rams. And if I'm wrong, that's the 3rd time I've been wrong about a 49ers win this year. And maybe, they always say stuff comes in threes. So maybe, just maybe, I'm going to be wrong for a 3rd time. And the 49ers will have beaten the Seahawks on the road, the Rams on the road, and the Rams at home. And here comes the grand finale. So stick with us. We're going to go by the old Sutro Baths. I don't know. Yeah, you probably can't see them. They're over the fence there. The old Victorian swimming complex that burned down in the 70s, probably insurance fraud. Allegedly. This is where the Cliff House used to be. And I say used to be because it used to be much more ornate, and then they shut it down. Hopefully it reopens as something else. And here you have Ocean Beach on a picture-perfect day. Look at those waves breaking in. They got the beach volleyball going on Ocean Beach, and where you could see the 2 Dutch windmills at Golden Gate Park. Those used to pump water through Golden Gate Park, which goes all the way from here to the middle of the city. But used to have playland at the beach, a nice old theme park. But now it's housing. Unfortunately, I'd rather have the theme park there. All right, that's it. 49ers Rams coming up tomorrow. Everybody, thanks for watching.